Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the year's most explosive Senate confirmation hearings. Senator Josh Hawley confronted Dr. Shogan, President Biden's nominee for archivist, and accused her of lying under oath. The evidence, her own words. Buckle up, this is about accountability, transparency, and political bias in public office.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Shogan, when you were here last year, a number of senators asked you, including me, a series of questions about articles you'd written, public statements you had made on social media that were, I have to say, pretty grossly partisan, and I thought offensive, and you and I went back and forth about it. After that, a number of us asked you questions for the record relating to these statements. I want to follow up on one of them. I, in particular, asked you to give us a full accounting of the public posts that you had made on Twitter. You had locked your Twitter account before you came before this committee. It had previously been public. I asked you to provide the public posts that had previously been available on Twitter because the ones that we have were pretty disturbing. You responded as follows, and I quote, "My personal Twitter account is comprised of posts about my mystery novels, events at the White House Historical Association, Pittsburgh sports teams, travels, and my dog," end quote. Is this an accurate statement?
Dr. Shogan told the Senate her Twitter was just about mystery novels, Pittsburgh sports, travels, and her dog. But Hawley didn't buy it. He had receipts. Public tweets, many deleted, showed partisan politics, not just dogs or novels. All of it directly contradicted her sworn testimony. Here's where it gets wild. Every time Senator Hawley confronted Dr. Shogan with a tweet, she repeated, "My social media is in my personal capacity." No denial, no explanation. Just that phrase again and again. You can see Hawley's frustration as she dodges every question. This isn't just about tweets, it's about honesty and transparency in public service.
Yes, Senator.
I just remind you you're under oath. Is this an accurate statement?
Yes, Senator.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your Twitter posts then that I was asking you about. On February 18th, 2022, you posted on Twitter bemoaning the dropping of mask requirements for children, including those under the age of 5. Do you remember that post?
No, Senator. Those tweets were in my personal capacity.
No. I asked you, would you give all public posts that you had made on Twitter? You said no, effectively, and you said that your Twitter posts consisted of mystery novels, events at the White House Historical Association, Pittsburgh sports teams, travels, and my dog. And you just told me now under oath that you stood by that.
Senator Hawley didn't just focus on Twitter posts. He pressed Shogan about giving legal advice online, even though she isn't a lawyer. Hawley cited the Shurtleff v. Boston case, noting Shogan advised someone to remove religious flags, something the Supreme Court ruled unconstitutional. This matters because the head of America's national records must uphold constitutional values, not distort them. The chamber fell silent as Senator Hawley looked Shogan in the eye and said, "You lied to us under oath." The contradiction between her testimony and her tweets was undeniable. She refused to provide public posts, raising serious concerns about what else she might be hiding. In Hawley's words, it was the most extraordinary thing he'd seen in the Senate. This isn't just about one nominee or one tweet, it's about whether public officials can lie under oath and still be trusted with power. Senator Hawley may have just saved America from putting another partisan into a role that demands integrity. Subscribe for more bold, unfiltered political content. Until next time, stay informed, stay free.
About the post, you remember this one? I said we seem to be having an incredible case of amnesia, but maybe you remember this one. This is from December 3rd of 2021. In which you advise an individual who goes by Meg on social media that the Library of Congress, you advise this person to complain about religious flags that have been planted on the grounds of the Library of Congress, and you say that they ought to be removed. And you go on to give this person advice about how to complain and have them removed. Do you remember that post?
My social media is in my personal capacity.
Do you remember the post?
My social media is in my personal capacity, Senator.
I have to say, I have been here for 4 years in the Senate. I have never seen a witness stonewall like this before. Never. And I've seen a lot. This is extraordinary. Do you remember this post? December 3rd, 2021.
My social media is in my personal capacity, Senator.
I mean, this is unbelievable. And you want to be the archivist of the United States. You lied to us under oath. You lied to us in your QFRs. You just lied to me a second ago under oath, and now you're sitting here stonewalling, not answering questions about public posts that you've made. Are you a lawyer, Ms. Shogan?
No, Senator.
Are you familiar with the Shurtleff case at the United States Supreme Court?
No, Senator, I'm not.
Well, in that case, the Supreme Court held that, in fact, it constitutes viewpoint discrimination for a government entity to remove religious flags from its property when it's opened up the property to allow other people to put flags on it. Exactly the question that you are addressing in your public posts on Twitter. You're giving legal advice, which you're not qualified to give.